What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Idaho Rifleman. Today I'm going to redo a video I did not too terribly long ago. I set up some drywall and some insulation, shot through that to see how the different rounds performed, how many pieces of drywall they would go through and whatnot. I've rebuilt that. I've actually got some wall sections set up that we're going to shoot through, and it's not so much about seeing if the round goes through the drywall, it's about how it performs as it passes through. I've got 4 sections of wall set up over here at the range, so we're going to shoot them with some different pistol and rifle and shotgun calibers and gauge. Yes, I know. And we're just going to see how they perform, and we'll see what rounds tumble, what rounds fly straight through, and just kind of how they perform in general. So we'll head over to the range there and get started. Up first is 22 long rifle. As you can see, nice clean entrance. Turned sideways, came out ugly out the back of that. Slapped that one sideways, that one sideways. Quite a bit of drop. Slapped that last one sideways, and then came out very ugly out the back. Alright, now we have 380. This is going to be Fiocchi Blue Guardian ammunition. I will put all of the descriptions, the grain weights, and the ammunition types down in the description, so make sure to go look for those. Here's our hit with the 380. Nice clean entrance. And as it passed through, you can see it turned sideways there, stayed sideways, and stayed sideways there. And then each one of our exit wounds here are pretty gnarly. There's the final exit right there. This was a frangible hollow point, but it appears that it stayed intact the whole way through. This is going to be the Federal Punch 9mm out of an M&P shield. Here's our Federal Punch 9mm. Stabilized, it stayed straight through the second wall here. Stayed pretty straight through the third wall. And on the fourth wall it turned sideways. Left a pretty good hole out the back. Okay, this is Hornady American Gunner 45 ACP out of a Rock Island 1911. Here's a good hit with our 45. Quite a bit of drop there. It stayed straight all the way through. So that 45 stabilized very well. All the way out the back. Now this is 38 special, but instead of using any kind of a hollow point or anything like that, I'm going to use rat shot and just see what that does on the drywall here. Here's 38 special rat shot. This is where the plastic cap hit. I was aiming right over here. So it hit pretty far to the left, but it's got a decent spread. Let's see if any of that actually made it through. No. None of it. We're going to move up to rifle now. This is 5.56, and it's going to be a Federal Varmint round. And again, I'll put all the descriptions and grain weights and everything in the description below of the video here. And here's our 5.56 round. Alright, so that did decent as it punched through here. So this was a Frangible Varmint round. And you can see it started to break up, and mainly just chunks that came through this last piece of wall here. And actually some of it looks like it's still inside the wall. Here's another rifle round used in close quarters or self-defense. This is a Smith & Wesson M&P 15 chambered in 300 Blackout. The ammunition is Underwood ammo. It's a maximum expansion round. Ooh, I flinched on that one. Why did I flinch? It's 300 Blackout. Stand by. For YouTube purposes, this is not showing how to disassemble, reassemble, or otherwise put together an AR. But when I took this thing apart to see why it was not firing, this is what I was met with. And if you look right there, hey buddy, you can't park there. That's not where that goes. Now let's try that again. I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea which one that was. I think it's this one. It should also be this one. Maybe. But I can tell you, that one right there is where it turned sideways and came out. You can see. Pretty good shape of the round right there. Alright, next up is 12 gauge. I know somebody got worried when I said shotgun and caliber in the same sentence during the intro. But we've got the less lethal double ball round loaded up. It did pretty well when we shot the ballistic gel with it, so now I'm kind of curious what it's going to do against the wall. And then after this we'll shoot it with some double-aught buck and see what happens. Forgot to hit record on the impact camera, but here it is. This is our 12 gauge double ball. Looks like one ball went through here and then the ball and the wad went through on this one. And there they are, stuck right into the wall right there. Now this is Winchester Defender 9 pellet double-aught buck. I'm going to aim right square at the middle of this and we'll see what kind of spread we get too. Alright, from 5 yards that's a pretty tight spread and a decent hole. But it looks like we went through all the way here. Pretty decent exit hole there. Now it's kind of hard to know where we stand because in one breath the left tells you that the only thing the Second Amendment pertained to was muskets and black powder, old antique firearms. But in the next breath they tell you that they're coming for all your guns. Doesn't matter whether it's an assault weapon or not. But we'll go ahead and make the video here and show you the musket for self-defense. And yes, I know it's not a musket, it's a muzzleloader, but same thing. Here it is, 54 caliber lead ball fired out of our cap lock muzzleloader. Right here, right here, here, and right there. I love the smell of black powder. It's lingering pretty heavily over here. But there you go. There is what the left would have you use for self-defense in your home. Alright everybody, that's going to wrap up this week's episode of Idaho Rifleman. Hopefully you enjoyed it, found it informative. Again, this video wasn't about how many walls the bullet's going to go through. It was mainly just about how the round is going to perform as it passes through the wall. What rounds are going to stabilize and fly straight, and like the 300 Blackout, it turned completely sideways there at the end, and I mean, that's a big chunk of copper flying through that wall. So mainly just about that. I mean, we saw right out the gate the 22 went straight through, so we know that every single round, other than the less lethal, was going to pass right through each one of those sections of wall. So mainly just informative to show you guys how those rounds are going to perform. And keep in mind, you are accountable for every shot that you take. So remember that. If you're in an apartment building, for instance, you've only got one wall between you and your neighbor, keep in mind that that round is going to go right through that wall, and maybe the next wall, and maybe even the exterior wall of the building, depending on the round. So keep that in mind, be cognizant, and kind of know your living situation. Know if there is a spot that you absolutely cannot take a shot. I know there's a couple of spots in my house where I will not take the shot, because what's on the other side of that wall is worth more than my life. So just keep that in mind. There's going to be times that what's behind your target, you're going to have to make a decision of whether or not to pull that trigger, because your life's on the line, but you're accountable for every shot that you take. And if your backdrop isn't clear, I mean, that's gun safety 101. Know your target and what's behind it. So just stuff like that to keep in mind. Sometimes actually seeing how a round performs going through a wall like that is a refresher that we all need to see. Or maybe it's your first exposure into firearms and gun safety, and maybe you hadn't even thought of that before. So just a video on that and how the rounds will perform. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give the video a like, leave a comment, let me know one way or the other what you think, and again, make sure you're following the channel. There's about 97% of my viewers aren't subscribed, so reach down, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're following the channel, and make sure you're following Idaho Rifleman on Facebook and Instagram as well. As always, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Take care, stay safe, and God bless. We'll see you next time here on Idaho Rifleman.